Hello everyone. Today we are going to see lecture number 4 in the series of SQL. Today we are going to discuss or we are going to have a full practice session. Okay, and before getting to that, we'll just have a brief recall of what we have discussed so far. In case of lecture number 1, that is SQL lecture number 1, we have discussed the basic concepts like data, information, database, DBMS, RDBMS, and types of RDBMS and SQL, right? In second lecture, we have discussed basic commands of SQL, right? Like DDL, data definition language, data modification language, and DRL, data retrieval language, and DCL and TCL, right? In today's class, we are going to discuss the top three. I mean, these are the three that we are commonly used. I mean, DDL, DML, and DRL. Okay, now we will be having a full practice session today. In case of lecture number 3, we have discussed what are the data types and constraints. Right. Now, today's class. In today's class, we are going to have a practice session regarding table creations. I mean SQL commands. This is the SQL commands, right? SQL commands practice session. Table creation, altering table, drop and truncate, inserting and inserting data into the table and updating the table. I mean updating the data into the table and deleting the data and data retrieving. Okay, we are going to see all these things today and we are going to have full practice session. Okay, now let's start into the practice session. Okay, now I am assuming that you have installed Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. You can observe here, this is her name, right? So here it is the interface. We will be having a workspace. This is the workspace, and you can see the output here. And these are the databases that we have, and this is the server that have connected. Okay, I am assuming that you have installed Microsoft SQL Server Studio, and you have connected with your local host or with any server that you have. Okay, and the interface would be like if you use a new query that will be adding up one more. I mean, the workspace will be added up. Okay, now this is the execution. I mean, whatever query you will write here, by clicking on it, and if you enter on execute, that will be executed. Now you can see after pressing execute, you will see like this command executed successfully. Okay, and this is the space where you will be selecting different databases. See, we have different databases. By clicking on each, you will be selecting that particular databases. Okay, now in today's video we are going to start a practice from very basic. Okay, let's start with the basic. Like, see, this is a software tool which we use to create and modify the databases through a SQL, I mean, a structure query language. Okay, structure query language is the mediator or the language that we use to interact with databases through this ID, I mean, this studio. Okay, this is a software tool. Okay, let's see. Start with the creation of database, right? Let's see, create database main life studies. Now if you have only single query, then if you press enter, I mean execute, it will create but there is a table here. We'll just remove that and see we have only one line of query. Now if you execute it, it will execute because of database already existing, so it is not executing, right? You can see here, if it is available, then you can see that here. Okay, it is not showing, so you have to refresh it. Let's see, here we have main life studies is the database. This is the symbols of databases. Okay, I hope you can see this, right? Now if you see the table, there is no extra tables here. It is a system generated table or file tables are existing. Now what you have to do, you have to create a data, I mean create a table, and this is RDBMS, right? And we will be storing our data in the format of tables. So you have to create a table in database. So before creating the table, you have to ensure that in which database that you are going to store. So you have to use main life studies. Okay, if you execute this query, that will represent you are opening the database main life studies, or else you can also use this scroll down option. Okay, here also by using this option we can select main life studies. Okay, let's check that as well. Okay, here. See, by clicking on it, it will be reflecting, right? Now it is in database that is mean life studies. Or else, if you want to use a query, then you have to write like this, use mean life studies. By executing this query, you will see here, it is changing, right? So it command completed successfully and it is opening database mean life studies. Now, what you have to do, you have to create a table, create employee create table employee of employee ID. See, these are the column names that I'm going to create, but we have to ensure that we have to assign different data types, right? It's all depends upon our requirements. So you have to use int because if it is employee, it is just a number. So employee name, it is a string, right? As and when if you have a string, you have to use varchar. Or else you can use text as well. Okay, if you use a varchar, you have to define the size, right? Now, employee ID, employee name, and department name, or else department ID int. Okay, next, salary. Salary can be money or integer or float, anything. Okay, we can define with any data type. Now, if you execute this, see, command completed successfully. Now you'll see the table. And before getting to that, we'll see if you do you able to see the table? No, right? So you have to refresh it. See, after refreshing, you will able to see the table. That is, in database main life studies, we have table employee. Right now, we'll enter. I mean, we'll see the table. To see that, I mean, we are retrieving select star from employee. Okay, this is a retrieval statement that we will be used to retrieve the data. See, what we have only the schema like employee ID, employee name, department ID, and salary. So there is no data. So that's why it is returning only the table structure. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to insert the data into table that is employee. Insert into employee values of, I mean, how many values you have to enter? Those many number of columns that you have mentioned in the create statement, that many number of values should be inserted, right? And also you have to ensure that the data type that you assigned for each column, that should be followed for values that you are going to enter. See, employee ID one and employee, as and when if you are using varchar, then you have to use a single quote. I mean, that is a string, right? So wherever you are going to use a string, you have to keep that in single quote so that it is taking it as string. So Mahendra and department ID, it is a number, right? So you can use any number 200 and salary. It is integer or money 10,000. Okay. Now how many records that you want? You have to enter like this. Comma 20,000. Now 3 comma 400 comma 30,000. Now, if you execute this statement, the data will be inserted. See, 3 rows got affected. Now, if you see the table, this is the retrieval statement, right? We are retrieving all star or asterisk represents all columns from employee table, and we are retrieving all columns from employee table. Okay, let's see that. See, you can see here employee ID, employee name, department ID, salary. We have inserted three rows, I mean three records, right? So it is reflecting three records. So if you don't want to insert all the columns, then you have to mention insert into employee of whatever column that you want to enter, then you have to mention it. Employee ID, employee name, comma, I don't want to enter any department ID, so I just skipping it, salary. Okay, now you have to close it and values of and mention only the columns that you have mentioned inside this bracket. So I mean how many columns you are going to considering, those many number of values should be inserted, right? See, employee ID, comma, employee name, okay, and salary. Only we have three three columns. Employee ID, I mean we are inserting only three columns. Employee ID, employee name, salary. See, employee ID, employee name, salary. Right, only three columns. Now we'll see two and 20,000. See, we have already employee IDs 1, 2, 3. Right? We'll assign with different IDs. Okay? Just to avoid a confusion. Okay, now if you execute this statement, you can see two rows got affected, right? Now if you see the table, what will happen? See, now first we inserted three records, then we inserting only those three columns only, not department ID, so it is returning by default as null. Okay, this is how we can insert it. Whatever columns that you want, that particular values can be inserted. Okay, this is insertion statement. I mean we have used creating the table and inserting the data into the table, right? Now we'll see alter command, alter table employee add column. Okay, see, I'll show you how it can be debugged. See, this is auto debugging. I mean, it is showing wherever the mistake is happening, that could be by default it is showing with red line. Okay, see, uh, I mean, alter table employee add column, whatever column that you want, age int. Okay, now if you execute, it will returning some error. See, incorrect syntax near keyword column. We don't need any column as like this. See, alter table employee add column name and integer. Now, if you execute, that will be executed. Right. Now, if you see the table, that will be adding up of age column. See, age column, but we have not entered any value, so by default it is null. Okay. Now we'll see update employee set age equal to 29. Okay, if you use set, I mean update and setting the age as 29, then it will be updating all the data with 29 as age. See, five rows got affected. Now if you see the table, select start from employee, I mean we are retrieving all the data, I mean all the columns from employee table. Okay, this is a retrieval statement or the command you should remember. Okay, now so you can see here we are updating this employee table with age as 29. Okay, now we'll see later in later classes we are going to apply different conditions by using where class. We'll see that later. For now, we'll just created a table, inserted data into the table, and we uh, added one more column by using alter, and we updated it, right? Now we'll see alter table drop column age. Now if you see this, it will reflect as alter table name, right? Alter table name is missing, right? So it is returning some error. You have to be very clear on why, and you should know how to debug the error. So you have to go through this error. Okay, now if you execute this, you can see command completed successfully. I mean, I'm what I'm doing, alter table employee. We are changing the employee. What we are changing? Drop and column. We are going to drop age column. Okay. Now if you see this table, there is no age column. See, there is no age column. Okay. Alter add and alter drop. Okay. Next, what we have? We have truncate and delete. Truncate. Before getting to that, we'll use delete as well, right? See, if we use that, the entire data will be deleted. So we cannot retrieve the data to further uh, action. So I'm not using that now for now. Okay, next what we have, we discussed create and alter. Next updated, inserted, right? Next retrieved. Okay, we'll have only next three like drop, delete, and truncate. These are the three commands are very important, and you should know what is the difference between these these three. Okay, now drop means if you use a drop, it will be dropping the entire object. I mean the table object. It will be deleting the entire structure as well as data. Okay, if you use a delete command, it will be deleting entire data but not the structure. The structure will be remains there. And truncate also, it will be deleting entire data at a time, but that won't deletes any structure. The structure will be remains there. See, then what is the difference between delete and truncate? In case of truncate, it will be deleting all the data at a time. But by using delete, we can delete whatever we want. I mean, any number of records that we want, we can delete those number of records by using delete. But that is not possible in truncate. Okay, if you use a truncate at a time, it will be deleting all records. Okay, and the structure only will be there. But by using delete, whatever data that you want to delete, that can be possible by using delete command. But in case of drop, it will delete entire data as well as the structure. Okay, that is the main difference between these three. Now if you see the truncate or delete table employee, see if you execute this, it is not I mean we should not use table. Okay, delete table. Let's see that. See, executed, right? Now we'll see retrieve the table. What will happen? See, only the entire data will be deleted. Similarly, you can use this truncate also. For truncate also, it will be deleting all the data. But by using delete command, we can delete how many records that we want. That can be possible by using delete command. Okay. Now, if we use drop employee, see we have to use here table, drop table employee. Now, if you execute it, executed successfully. Now, if you see, there is no data. See, invalid object name employee. There is no employee. Now we'll create it. Now again I'm executing it. Okay, now I'm creating it again. So now if you see the table, see only structure will be there. Now if you execute this one, three three rows are inserted. Now if you executed this one, again two rows are inserting. Now what we have to do? We have to truncate it. Truncate employee. See, there is a small truncate table employee. Okay, uh, if you execute this, see executed, right? Now if you see the table, it will be deleting all the data, but the structure will be there. In case of delete also, it will be the same, right? Now we'll insert the data again. See, what is the table? Let's see that. See, now we have the table. If we use a truncate, delete, truncate, then the entire data will be deleted at a time. If you use a drop, entire object, I mean the entire table will be deleted. I mean structure as well as data. But if you use delete employee where salary is greater than 20,000. See, only one row got deleted. Okay, now if you see the table for the employee who see before we have 5 records. You entered 3 records and 2 records. Before we have 5 records, but after executing this one, we have only 4 records because of by using delete command we can delete any number of rows. It's all depends upon our requirement. See here I am applying condition where salary is greater than 20,000. So it is deleting only, I mean, only satisfying this condition that particular record will be deleted. So this is not possible in truncate. That is the difference between truncate and delete. Okay. Today, what we have discussed, I mean DDL, I mean created a table and we inserted a data and we retrieved the data and we altered the table. I mean we added a column, we dropped a column, right? We can also change the data type as well, and that we'll see in later classes. Okay, now and also we updated a table and updated data, right? And we deleted the data, I mean we deleted and drop and truncate. Okay, uh, these are the very important commands in SQL. I hope this is understandable, right? And thanks for watching.